Mastercard just handed Stellar one of the biggest credibility boosts in crypto history, and nobody's talking about it. At Meridian 2024, while most of the crypto world was obsessing over Bitcoin ETFs and memecoins, Stellar quietly dropped a bombshell. It's now officially part of Mastercard's Crypto Credential ecosystem. That's right, Mastercard, a global payments titan with over 3 billion cards in circulation, chose Stellar to help power the future of compliant crypto transactions. And here's what makes this moment even more explosive. Mastercard isn't in the habit of backing speculative tokens. They don't care about hype cycles. They care about infrastructure, compliance, and real-world payment rails. So when they selected Stellar's blockchain for a key role in their crypto roadmap, it wasn't just a partnership, it was a signal. A signal that Stellar's regulated, utility-first architecture is now being taken seriously at the highest levels of traditional finance. Let's break this down. What exactly is Mastercard Crypto Credential? It's not just another blockchain collab. This is a compliance layer built into digital asset transfers. The system allows crypto wallets to be linked to verifiable aliases, so users don't have to memorize wallet addresses. Even more important, it brings Know Your Customer, KYC, compliance into the blockchain without exposing private details on-chain. Think about that. You can now verify the legitimacy of the person or business you're transacting with, without needing to know their wallet address or real name. That's game-changing for consumer trust in crypto. And Stellar just became one of the first blockchains to implement this standard. Now here's the part that should have every XLM holder on high alert. Why did Mastercard choose Stellar? Not Ethereum, not Solana, not Avalanche. Stellar comes down to three things: speed, compliance, and purpose-built simplicity. Stellar wasn't designed to do everything. It was designed to move value cheaply, globally, and compliantly. And Mastercard recognized that. While Ethereum gas fees fluctuate wildly and Solana still battles uptime issues, Stellar has been quietly processing millions of daily transactions for years, with finality times under 5 seconds. But speed alone doesn't win partnerships with payment giants. Stellar's edge lies in its compliance-first architecture, the very thing that made it appealing to institutions like MoneyGram, Circle, and the government of Palau. And now Mastercard. So this isn't just about a flashy press release. This is about infrastructure convergence. Mastercard isn't betting on Stellar for marketing clout. It's betting on Stellar to solve real friction in cross-border payments and crypto adoption. And if you're thinking this is some distant future scenario, think again. This integration is already underway. The Stellar Development Foundation confirmed that wallets supporting Stellar will soon offer credential-enabled transfers, starting with Latin America and Europe, regions already experimenting with regulated stablecoins and digital IDs. That means XLM transactions could soon move through Mastercard's network, with built-in identity validation. No chargebacks, no fraud, no guesswork. Let that sink in. This is what the future of crypto payments actually looks like. Not speculative DeFi farms or vaporware metaverses, but real people sending real money across real borders with blockchain doing the hard work invisibly in the background. This isn't hype. It's a quiet revolution, and it just got the Mastercard seal of approval. Why this isn't just another crypto collab? Let's be real, crypto partnerships are a dime a dozen. Every other day, some blockchain announces a strategic collaboration with a startup, a pilot program, or a vague memorandum of understanding. Most of them never deliver anything beyond a headline. But this Mastercard-Stellar partnership? It's fundamentally different. We're talking about a top 3 global payments processor, with relationships across 90% of the world's banks, choosing to integrate on-chain identity and payments through Stellar. That's not a marketing stunt. That's infrastructure being rebuilt from the inside out. So let's unpack why this matters. Mastercard's crypto strategy isn't new, but this is a major shift. For years, Mastercard has been cautiously exploring blockchain tech. They've tested stablecoin payments, created pilot programs with CBDCs, and even filed patents for blockchain-based transaction systems. But they've never truly committed to embedding crypto into their consumer-facing payments architecture. Until now. This Crypto Credential ecosystem represents their first full-scale rollout of blockchain-based compliance tooling. And who do they trust to help execute it? Stellar. Because here's what most people miss. Mastercard's entire business model is built on trust and regulation. They don't want Wild West chains. They want systems that can't fail, don't crash, and stay inside the legal guardrails, especially in cross-border scenarios where compliance is everything. That's where Stellar stands out from nearly every other L1. Stellar was built for this. Unlike Ethereum or Solana, Stellar wasn't designed to support high-frequency DeFi gambling or NFTs. It was built for global asset transfers, tokenized fiat, stablecoins, remittances, cross-border settlements. That's it. And that laser focus pays off here. Stellar has built-in support for regulatory flags, KYC data attachments, and permissioned assets. These features aren't add-ons, they're part of the protocol. That's exactly what Mastercard needs to meet FATF requirements, EU AML rules, and the upcoming MiCA regulations in Europe. Think about what this enables. A user in Brazil could send stablecoins to a freelancer in France. The transfer is instant. The identity is verified. The wallet aliases are protected. The receiving party doesn't have to worry about scams or misdirected funds. And the whole thing happens over the Stellar network, validated by Mastercard's compliance rails. That's not theoretical. That's exactly what's being piloted right now. Real use cases that matter. This isn't just a crypto payment upgrade. It's a new foundation for global financial infrastructure. Here's what Mastercard and Stellar are enabling behind the scenes. On-chain identity verification that still respects user privacy. Stablecoin transfers that meet regulatory and banking standards. Global remittance flows without the middlemen, and with KYC baked in. Merchant onboarding for crypto-friendly payments that won't violate compliance. Wallet interoperability across networks and countries, even under strict AML regimes. And yes, CBDC integration is on the horizon too. Mastercard has already worked with central banks in Sweden, the Bahamas, and Nigeria on digital currency pilots. Now, with Stellar in the mix, we're one step closer to blockchain-based fiat moving across global retail networks. This is massive. But here's the part most retail investors miss. This partnership isn't being hyped on Twitter. There's no meme army behind it. It's not trending on Reddit. And that's the signal. Because when real adoption happens in crypto, it doesn't come with fireworks. It comes with infrastructure moves like this, quiet, technical, regulatory aligned. The kind of progress that actually gets used by governments and Fortune 500 companies, not just speculators. So while everyone else is chasing the next narrative coin, Stellar is out here building the plumbing of the new financial system, with Mastercard as a validation partner. This is not just another collab. This is a wedge into a $150 trillion payments market, and Stellar is perfectly positioned to ride the wave. Stellar's institutional edge. This Mastercard deal didn't come out of nowhere. Stellar's been quietly laying the groundwork for years, building the kind of ecosystem that institutions trust. Let's start with MoneyGram. That partnership turned Stellar into a global cash-to-crypto ramp, connecting over 300,000 locations worldwide. It gave everyday users on-ramps to stablecoins like USDC, no bank account required. Then came Palau's national stablecoin, built entirely on Stellar. That wasn't a gimmick. It was a sovereign country choosing Stellar over Ethereum, over Solana, over Ripple for real-world money. Now Mastercard. That's 3 major partnerships. One with a global remittance giant, one with a government, and now one with a top-tier payments network. There's a pattern here. Institutions aren't picking Stellar because it's flashy. They're picking it because it's regulatory ready, stable, and purpose-built for moving money compliantly. Even Ripple, with all its banking relationships, didn't land this credential integration. Stellar did. Because Stellar isn't trying to be a DeFi casino. It's building invisible infrastructure for a global financial system that actually works. And that's what Mastercard just signed on to. What this means for XLM's future. Let's talk impact, because this partnership isn't just good for Stellar's brand. It's a direct catalyst for XLM. Every time a transaction moves across Stellar's network, even if it's a stablecoin or digital fiat, it requires a tiny amount of XLM for fees and trust lines. That's baked into the protocol. The more real-world usage Stellar sees, the more organic demand for XLM builds behind the scenes. And Mastercard's involvement could massively boost that volume. Picture this: millions of users sending money globally, stablecoins, fiat tokens, even future CBDCs, all verified through Mastercard's Crypto Credential and processed through Stellar's rails. That means XLM silently powers the back end. No speculation, no hype pumps, just utility. And here's the kicker: this demand isn't tied to retail traders. It's tied to institutions and payments infrastructure. That's long-term, sticky adoption, the kind that doesn't vanish in a bear market. So while everyone's chasing AI tokens and meme coins, XLM is positioning itself as the invisible fuel behind a global payments overhaul. And if this thing scales, XLM's role could grow from background token to critical infrastructure asset. The quiet race to dominate real-world crypto payments. While crypto influencers obsess over Ethereum's next Denkin upgrade or Solana's blazing TPS, they're missing the most important battleground in blockchain right now: real-world utility at a global scale. And Stellar is quietly winning that race. Let's break it down. Real adoption isn't flashy, it's functional. Ethereum is bloated. Gas fees spike every time the market gets excited. Solana's fast, yes, but it still has outages and struggles to gain trust with institutions. Cardano moves like a turtle, and most layer ones are chasing TVL, not solving any real-world problem. Meanwhile, Stellar isn't chasing attention. It's securing positions in the plumbing of global finance. The Mastercard partnership is just the latest milestone in a very deliberate strategy. Not to be the most popular, not to host the next meme coin, but to become the preferred blockchain layer for regulated payments and compliant financial rails. That's how you win in the long game. Who's already betting on Stellar? Let's not forget who's already on board. MoneyGram integrated Stellar to allow global cash-to-crypto conversions in over 300,000 retail locations. No other chain has that level of retail touchpoint. None. Palau launched a government-backed national stablecoin on Stellar, a real sovereign currency issued on-chain. Not a pilot, not a white paper, a real deployment. Circle's USDC, the most widely trusted stablecoin, chose Stellar as one of its core networks, next to Ethereum and Solana. Franklin Templeton, a $1.4 trillion asset manager, deployed one of the first tokenized treasury funds on Stellar. And now Mastercard, with its Crypto Credential program, is turning to Stellar to support cross-border identity, compliance, and tokenized payments. Ask yourself, why are these institutions choosing Stellar? Because Stellar speaks their language: compliance, efficiency, and interoperability. Regulatory alignment is the ultimate cheat code. Every smart player in crypto knows what's coming. Governments are tightening the noose on unregulated platforms. MiCA in Europe, FATF travel rules globally, and the US finally waking up to digital asset legislation, all point to one truth: only regulation-compliant chains will survive mass adoption. Ethereum can't enforce identity. Solana doesn't even pretend to. And most DeFi chains run from regulators. Stellar? It embraces them. It offers built-in KYC support, asset freezing and permissioning, federated addresses and wallet aliasing, tools for issuer compliance baked into the protocol. That's why Stellar is already compatible with banking-grade requirements, without needing a second layer or workaround. And that's why Mastercard didn't go with Ethereum, or Avalanche, or any other hyped-up chain. They picked Stellar because Stellar is built for this. While retail chases hype, institutions build with Stellar. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. The next crypto bull run won't be driven by memes, airdrops, or celebrity shills. It'll be driven by infrastructure maturity. The winners will be the chains, trusted by banks, integrated by governments, chosen by payment giants, compatible with regulation, invisible to the user but irreplaceable to the system. That's the role Stellar is positioning itself for. Not front and center, not viral, just essential. It's the difference between a flashy sports car and a freight train. One turns heads, the other moves economies. Why this moment matters. This Mastercard deal isn't about logos. It's a signal. It means the world's second-largest payments processor is betting on a public blockchain, not just for sending money, but for verifying identity, ensuring compliance, and enabling seamless, global, crypto-powered payments at scale. This is the kind of deal that doesn't just validate a blockchain, it sets the standard. It tells other institutions, we trust Stellar's architecture to power real money at a global level. And once that domino falls, others follow fast. If Mastercard builds on Stellar, Visa has to respond. If Palau launches a stablecoin, another Pacific nation will follow. If banks see compliant flows moving over Stellar rails, they'll want access too. This is the tipping point no one is watching. The future belongs to the quiet builders. Everyone's talking about the next 100x altcoin. But the real 100x play isn't a gamble. It's owning the infrastructure that powers trillions in global finance. That's the game Stellar is playing. So when people say, XLM is boring, just smile. Because boring is what Visa looked like before it processed $14 trillion a year. Because boring is what infrastructure looks like before it becomes indispensable. And in this quiet race to dominate global crypto payments, Stellar isn't just running. It's already miles ahead. So if you thought Stellar was falling behind, think again. It's not just catching up. It's quietly leapfrogging the competition by going where most projects can't. Deep into the regulated financial system. And XLM? It's no longer just a token. It's becoming a backbone. Smash that like button if you're seeing the bigger picture. Subscribe to Be Crypto Smart for more real talk breakdowns before the rest of the market catches up. Because by the time headlines start screaming about Stellar, it'll already be too late.